is a world-first exclusive glimpse at our early-stage UX explorations. We continue to work in tandem with Super One and visionary Andreas Christensen to create a world-class gaming experience that will become not just the standard by which others are measured, but the level which they dream to reach.
Mobile technologies have transformed the geography of our minds. They have touched every aspect of our lives, changing how we communicate, navigate, and participate in the new digital ecosystem.
Dad, I don't really need your help. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to win the $1 million.
He's won $1 million!
But some industries have been left behind, failing to embrace the era of social networking. It begins by building a completely new experience, something that doesn't yet exist. An experience that creates the friendships that we couldn't make before. An experience that is powered by fanatical interest and driven by passion. Introducing the Fanatical Swipe. Swipe to find friends, fame, and fortune. Because it's all about skills, scores, and speed. An experience that harnesses the power of knowledge to climb a $1 million staircase. This change is happening now. It will redefine what our trivia industry looks like for many years to come, conquering a multi-billion-dollar market. Crafted in collaboration with the world's leading digital agencies. Fantasy. Let's hear what they have to say.
Since 1999, Fantasy has been a human-centered product innovation team that ships pioneering products for the world's most pioneering companies. In short, we ship products used by billions. When Super One approached Fantasy, we
Hello everyone. My name is Andreas Christensen, founder of Super One, and today we're gonna give you a brief update, a new town hall. We're gonna speak a little bit about what's coming up next week and what's coming up the week after that. There is some really exciting times we are into, and we haven't prepared a very detailed presentation today because we are so loaded with work, really excited about it's only more or less a week away from we are into November, where we will start releasing your token, where we start trading, where we start the game. There is a lot of exciting things going on. So what I'm gonna do today is to bring you a little bit into our vision and how we work together, and how a little bit about the why we are here, we are, and why we are doing the things we are doing. So it's going to be a little bit retro session to kind of rewind a little bit in history and to place our business model into a more bigger context. So you have to bear with me. It's quite a lot of things going on. We have expanded the team. We have a lot of managerial or management tasks going on these days. And we work every day, 7 days a week, 18 to 20 hours just to keep pace. And the upcoming week will be tremendous when a lot of results come to the end, sort of, with the new videos, new presentation, a lot of stuff coming. So what I want to reflect a little bit about is the historical moment we are in terms of technology, and start a little bit because we've been looking a little bit into the history, and we kind of looking and thinking a little bit about the moves forward, the strategy we pursue, and how things are put together in a little bit bigger picture. And if you rewind all the way back to the end of the 19th century, that's when the cars started to come. It was when the engine started to be produced, both the fuel engine, the diesel engine, we got the electricity, we got a lot of things came across at that time. And there were some really great business people that really made good for about 50 years towards the end of that and into the 20th century. You have Henry Ford, you have Rockefeller, many of these created great businesses. Common for these people where that was that they kind of changed the status quo. An example how Henry Ford created the mass production of his cars. He kind of circumvented, there was no norm actually. Carl Benz introduced a car in Germany earlier, but he never mass produced it in the same way like Henry Ford did. And Rockefeller created Standard Oil and became the richest man in the world at that time. And he did that by what we call horizontal integration, where he actually created a monopoly. He was the really mogul of that time. If you bring this to the post-war, what happened in the 50 years sort of between 1950 to 2000? What happened in that time? It's called the golden age of capitalism, and it's where when USA was really booming, USA was number one, of course. They become really big with all the cars, with all the production. The whole American lifestyle was there. But we also have some other amazing countries that made very well despite their damages during the war. We have Japan that became the second most popular or how should I say valuable country in the world. And in particular, I would like to mention the Toyota production system has really become famous for what they did, and they still are today. It's one of the leading companies within technology production in terms of cars and these things. And they have a credo by its founder where everybody should win. They have, of course, a tremendous production system that has been tried to copy around the world. They are probably one of the best companies into mass production, robot production, and these things. But they also have the culture of the company. That's the winning culture, that everybody should win. And that's the second secret force of Toyota, is really brought them into the leading top of the world. And so that was another 50 years. So you have the first 50 years and we got all these kind of things developed, and then we got the 50 years with a lot of mass production, optimization, and then brings us to the 21st century where we are now, and we are only 20 years into the 21st century. So if we think that this technology will, at least before any new shift is coming, last another 30 years, so we are in the middle of the golden 50 years of technology. So now we are into what we can call the digitalization, and we see that all the big businesses today, most of them, they are based on technology. We've seen the Google, we've seen the Amazon, the most valuable company in the world, came up over the past 20 years, the same. Apple a little bit more, Google approximately the same. So over the past 20 years, all of this have emerged. Over the past 10 years, we've seen even more. We've seen the Dropbox coming up, we've seen PayPal, we've seen all these things really emerging. So what is a common among these kind of companies is their business model is pretty much the same among these companies. They have been very successful in their commercial operation. They have, of course, been successful on the stock exchange, but there is a couple of commonators that we think they could be challenged on. First of all, they never pay dividends. They don't pay anything to their shareholders, apart from, of course, they pay in stock increase. That's, of course, very important. But at the same time, many of the big industrial companies in the world, many of them in the energy sector, like British Petroleum, like Exxon, Chevron, they are paying a regular dividend on an annual basis between 5 to 10%. Many investors appreciate those kind of companies that give them on a regular basis. Of the tech companies, it's only Apple that actually started paying a little bit of dividend. It's just very little. It's 0.23% or something on the annualized basis, and Microsoft. All the others are still keeping the cash in the till. So that's one thing. The second thing is that the people that, or the users that make up their success, they are to a very little extent rewarded. If you take, for example, Facebook, the only thing you do by referring people into their marketplace is that you get a little coupon or something, discount in the marketplaces is more or less nothing. And that's a 900 billion empire that they built based on advertising, and where very little value is brought back to the users. The same applies to most of the other businesses. If you look at Netflix, if you refer somebody, you get a free subscription for a month. Okay, it's limited how fun that is. If you bring to Dropbox, you get more storage. Of course, that's been hugely successful. And if you look into companies like PayPal, you can refer a few people and you can get $10 each. That's a better one. And then finally, you have Amazon, where you can act. We covered this before, that they have about 3 million affiliates all over the world, and it's a sort of limited affiliate system where people need to work really hard to make $5,000 to $10,000 a month. So we think that this business models in the middle of the cycle we are now, we can call it the digital cycle, and we're looking forward over the next, let's say, decade. Let's have 1 decade as a kind of outlook for this project. We have 1 decade. That's the next 10 years. So from now until 2030, a lot going to happen. We see a lot happening, and that's because of the advances of technology that's happening. We see it from our own business with the blockchain and the ability to pay, an example, small money very fast on a global scale in real time. It's really, really promising for what we're doing. And we think that this way of creating new business structure is the way forward. And like I said many times, we are tech owners. We own all our technology. So together with you, we own this thing, and we decide what to do. And we think that owning this technology and adapting it to our business case is the key to our future success. And we truly believe that having the business model and change the business model into a business community where much more stakeholders are partaking in the revenue, it's the way forward. It is rooted in the millennial kind of entrepreneurial spirit, and it's also rooted in a more fair, share with everybody, but it needs to be based on engagement and performance. So we truly believe that this business model can really spark us to become, let's call it, the Arabs of the future. I mean, the Arabs has been really, really wealthy because of the oil that has been consumed over the past 50, 60 years. They discovered oil in 38, and they really boomed the past 50 years. So we really believe that this is the way forward, and that's why we work so hard on this, and that's why we strive to nurture and to adjust the business model all the time. And I think we come to a point where this model has been tuned very well, and whether it be the bonus system or how we do it with the staking, and all this now comes really into place. And the model with staking provides us with a legal way of sharing the revenue. I will not say sharing the profit, because it's not profit, it's a fixed revenue based staking. So that's something really amazing. And we are now approaching November, which is going to be the next phase of our business. And we have some exciting things that will take place in November. We have first of all, it starts already in a little bit more than a week, the token that will start releasing. And then we have the game release, like we covered last Sunday. Really, really great. And I'm really excited about that. And the team, like I said, we added much more developers, and we are not fully doubling down, because we had a lot of good developers, but we are really increasing the staff, and we are really putting acceleration on that. And we have the great content team that's create beautiful content. A lot of stuff is coming to you, and you should really grab those NFTs like we covered before, because they will now become very valuable as we start moving into the commercialization of this company. And that leads me to the product release. I mean, the first product we actually released in this company was the Super Token. That's the first product we actually sold. Next product has been all the NFTs. Now we are opening with the game and the gameplay, and it will lead us into growing our business community. And once we get that community up to a certain size, we will be able to launch much more services towards that community. There is no point stopping with a game. Game is a very important catalyst to really spark this community, to kickstart it, and to get it into all corners of the world because of the nature of the gaming industry. But there are much more services that is kind of floating in the surface as a natural inclusion into our platform. We mentioned before connected to commercial like Amazon, Expedia, these kind of thing, and how we can embed them into our game. And we have financial services, definitely a really hot potato these days. The fintech industry is really booming, and a lot of them are doing very well. So we are also definitely looking into that, because we have so many crossovers. There are many crossovers in what we do in the terms of getting people to get in. But first and foremost, we will concentrate on the Super One, on the game, and to get the wallet really in place, the utility of that, and see all the staking coming, the real-time model, everything is working, and we see, okay, this concept is now ready to grow, and we can add much more services into that. And that will really, that will make us much more powerful, of course, and you will earn much more money. So all of you that's early into this project will really have a really great and prosperous times ahead. And now it's up to us in the company, together with you, to start delivering on our promises. And that's what we're going to do now the coming weeks. There is a lot of excitement and pressure, and that's good. It's a lot of nerve to get this moving. And we see how over the past weeks, we kind of got a lot of ignition, a lot of excitement coming into the company. And we see when we present it to other people and we kind of simplify our proposition, it is really excited. And today we are embarking into or entering the last week of this October, and we are all working very hard to get things in place. So we will definitely start with the tokens on the 1st, and it will start roll out. there is a lot of question, and a lot of these upgrade packages have been a little bit quickly created. There has been some bumps in the road to fix that, and Arthur is doing a great job cleaning up my mess, but that's okay. We will fix all this the next few days, and there are some adjustments to the platform and some retro activation that we need to do over the next couple of days, next few days. And then we have now in the past weeks delivered all the previous promotion, the airdrops, the upgrades and all that. We have a little bit more to do with some of our early token holders that need a little bit of assistance. From that point forward, there is no more looking back. It's just looking forward. And I'm really excited about where we are and the kind of energy that comes into where we are. And when you look at it a little bit in a historical perspective, you see that we are very, very well positioned. And we also see that when talking to sort of new, I won't call it investors, but sort of potential stakeholders, traders, and other people within the blockchain space about what we have accomplished and the strategy we have and how we're gonna roll it out. We are very well engineered. We are very well planned. Now it's all about getting, how should I say, getting everything out there, but also that we kind of run slowly. It's been a good thing for us because we have been able to walk the talk. And we, from a technical point of view, we are very up and running, and it's coming now also the commercial side of the business. So that's really good. And I think we're gonna not be too long. As you hear, my voice is not that good today. It's some long hours, long days, and we're not gonna release any compelling graphics today. I know we have, because we have created something really cool, but we're gonna have a complete new presentation for you. I think it will be released on Wednesday. That's the time schedule now. It's a very simplification of the whole presentation we released in June. There is also new other stuff coming. So there are some questions here. And I'm going to look a little bit into them and just see if we can do a quick one. Yeah, there is one from how will the token process withdrawal be working? Okay, that's a very simple one. We have created a new update to our application. So inside the app, you will have your tokens. Then you will have one marking or one listing for free tokens, one listing for locked tokens. Every day with a vesting start, you will be able to see it's being moved from locked to free tokens. You can then insert Binance Smart Chain compliant address, and you'll be able to take out your token. You will also be able to see your release schedule and your past releases in a separate listing. So we will also have a guide for you how you can trade this on PancakeSwap, and how you withdraw and how you can deal with these tokens. We recommend as many as possible not to sell your tokens, because I think they will be very, very valuable once we roll out the game, and we really have some amazing stuff coming. So I don't think your strategy is to be, oh, I can take out 3 tokens or a few tokens and I really want to sell them, because that's the point of no return, and we will not recommend that, of course, and we will not do it. But we are enabling and we are delivering on our promise, and we also have a lot of stuff when it comes to the trading and boosting to really get that going shortly. So I think from a technical point of view, we will have guides out to you how to do this. So it will be automated in the back office. It will happen every 24 hours, starting sometime on the 1st. It will not be in the morning. It will be probably around midnight on the first UTC, because we need that day to run our scripts. Like we say, we have upgraded. We have the directors that get these released first, and all that are scripts that's already created that will execute on during November 1st, and then it will be released. So I think that's the thing about that trading. There are more things coming up when it comes to trainings, when it comes to presentations on a daily basis. We've been a little bit hindered by this week by some medical situation for some of our team members abroad. So we have been a little bit down on that, not here in Norway, but outside, so we can run the scheduled presentations. But there are a lot of things happening in the company, and you should look more into the groups. So what do you say, Steve?
Fantastic, Andreas. Good information. Everything that's happening for Monday. Everybody want to make sure from around the world as you're bringing new guests in. Andreas, we talked about what Arthur put together for the end of the month, really the end of the week, coming up on Monday the 25th. You see it on your screen here. Make sure you understand the value of the packages. Everything that Andreas talked about, from visionary points of where things were in the 19th century to here we are at Super One, unveiling some pretty exciting times for a lot of us. I think, Andreas, a lot of people really don't realize how big this project is. You and I had some interaction this past week, and just sharing some of that envisioning points of what's taking place. No hype, just really sound foundation. It really is an amazing time for all of us, folks. So remember, here's the outline for what's taking place this week coming up on Monday the 25th. And we'll get things geared up. So all your contacts, you'll see the presentation roll out on Wednesday that Andreas talked about, all the new content that Arthur's working behind the scenes. Keep him in prayer also. He's healing up, but he's one of our essential key people here at Super One, working alongside of Andreas and doing a fantastic job, as well as all the other leaders, Japan, of course, U.S., Canada, Germany, everywhere around the world. We want to recognize all of you. You're doing a fantastic job. Believing in the vision that Andreas rolled out here for all of you. So back to you, Andreas. Fantastic.
Yeah, I had a great meeting with Japan a couple of days ago, and they are all fired up. And there is a local Japanese group with a lot of our investors, and I cannot interpret those messages, but anyway, it's a lot of positivity coming from Japan, and it's cool because it is one of our primary gaming markets. It's one of the primary gaming markets in the world, and like I said before, every hour, every day, every year, there is more than $1 million in Tokyo alone in gaming, every hour. So it is an amazing market. There are amazing markets, many places, including your home market, Steve, US. It's, of course, still one of the leading markets in the world. But it's not about the market. The market is so huge, and it's about the product. It's about the final product that we actually touch people with, that their fanatical interest, that they are able to play the game, that they can see that this brings value to them. That's the thing. Second to this is the monetization. The primary thing is to get people hooked on the gaming experience. And from there we have no doubt that we're going to monetize largely. We can monetize through advertising, and we're looking more and more into the kind of brand monetization, ad monetization, than the direct payment thing. It has also to do with strategic marketing and stuff like that. And we truly believe that this could really be a huge success in many places. And the few things that we care about, not the few things, but one of the things we care most about is the game product, that the questions are in line with what footballers can respond to, that they get engaged and all this. And this is going to be a gradual rollout, of course, and we are really excited about that and the concept novelty in itself. But beneath there, and that's what we've been speaking a lot about in this project so far, is the business model. And this is a new business model. And it is a business model that challenged some of the existing shakers and movers in the digital industry. If you take an example, Airbnb, they created a referral program in their early days. Then they closed it. Then they created a new one. And that was much better based on gifting that we also do. But still, they closed it. But there is a lot of these companies that haven't managed to do what we are set out to do now. And there are multiple reasons for that, because they don't have the margins that's maybe inside the gaming. The gaming is a high margin business. We are able to do things in a little bit different way. And we are also able to render these bonuses or commissions or whatever rewards in a much more frequent and faster and cheaper way than any other have done. These companies are not primary into the blockchain space. We are not just a blockchain business. We are a consumer gaming company, tech company with a solid foot rooted in the blockchain. So we are using blockchain, like I said last Sunday, we are blockchain agnostic. We use blockchain for transactional purposes, but as we move forward now, we need to use Apple and Google payment system. We already have that discussion going on with Apple for more than a year, and it was bouncing back at us this week because we did some updates that crossed their red line, and we had to take it back and take it off. It was about these packages and moving. They are very much there. So when we still will be there. The thing is, like, we need to adapt our model to what the consumers, the billions of consumers, are used to use, because we want to have adoption, you know. And there is someone that asked us for request to explain the marketing plan.
Yeah, there was some highlighted questions on that, Andreas. And
I'm not gonna go into the compensation plan. We have a business bonuses, and we redefined all that in the new presentation, how it's all coming together, because it's not only the kind of team bonus and direct bonuses, it's also the whole staking regime with the collectibles and all, and we have all that embedded in a new type of presentation now, because it's not about how to say, network marketing, sort of. It's a whole new game with influencers, contributors, and all this. And we simplified it, and we simply call it a business community. And there are different. You can have different roles in that business community, but anyone that comes in can be a player. Anyone can be an influencer. Anyone can be a contributor. Anyone can be an affiliate, sort of. So we kind of remove a lot of these mumbo jumbo words from our presentation and call them members or a business community. And there are multiple avenues, multiple facets you can make money, and it's all about making money, and that's it. And that's what kind of separates us from many of the other opportunities out there, is that we pay in cool cash directly to your account within seconds. So that's the hard fact. That's the hard sell. Why we can do that? That's because of the business model. But we also have challenges in our business model. Like I said, we're going to start accepting Apple payments, and Apple pay us 30 days after a month. So that can be up to 2 months from a transaction take place to it's actually in our account. And that provides, of course, liquidity challenges for a growing company, etc. So we're looking into how to bridge these things. I experienced the same with the big telephone companies here in Scandinavia when we started in mobile content 20 years ago. They wouldn't pay us before 30 days after a month, or even 60 days. So we negotiated with them, and we got on account payments on a regular fortnight basis. We will find ways to do this. And I also believe that many of these companies will also be sort of, if not forced, they will. It's just a liquidity thing. So we will find ways to do that. But at the end of the day, I'm really satisfied with the business model and how it will work out from financial point of view as we move forward and get some real volume into this, because we see the power of this, and we see it's not easy to, if you take the founder of Toyota himself say everyone should win. That's a really good thing. Here everyone will win. Yes, we have owners, shareholders like myself. Yes, we have that, but we are having also the business community that we're sharing a lion's share of the revenue. So the business community will be able to thrive and really make a lot of money within the legal framework of staking today, and within the legal framework of team bonuses and things we do. So it's very important for us not to sell or market any securities, because that's dangerous. And we are legally cleared for what we do. And that also applies to the whole staking model. That's why we create our internal blockchain. That's why there's a lot of things you don't see that we've done. And the whole reasoning for this is to be compliant with the regulations, and to also have a business model of the future. But like I say, many times we don't know about the future. We don't know what's going to happen. What's hot today is maybe not hot tomorrow. The good thing is that we own the technology, so we can adapt to it. We are not contingent upon one technology. We have foots in all camps, sort of. So we are able to like we done before. We sacked Ethereum because of their fees. We did it very early. Should have done it before. Now we are in XRP. We have been more than a year in XRP, and I'm feeling that XRP are still struggling with the SEC commission. Hopefully, and it looks promising, that they will actually get out of that with their feet on the ground, sort of. But the nasty SEC, you never know. So there is another one coming up, Solana, which is have a little bit same of the features, doing very well. So we are pretty agnostic when it comes to these things. We are about creating value for the end user, and that's it. And the game concept is truly unique. We have so much content, and we have some partners that asked us for a list of the content, and I kind of dropped them the 370 pages of NFTs we created. People forget a little bit about the complexity of creating this. We released 30,000, sold 25,000 approximately of the NFTs. It's a massive amount, and the volume on our servers and the whole thing. I was called up by Amazon Web Service a little while ago, and they asked me, Andreas, what happened to your service in August? Because the bill was skyrocketing. The bill was 3 times higher than normal. Yeah, we had some traffic, and they were kind of, okay, how could we help you to reduce the load? And I explained to them we were exploited. You remember back in August, we had these attacks that we fought back within a few days, and that cost us tens of thousands of dollars, these things, because they kind of churned on our servers and did all that. But it's things we learn, and we're moving steadily forward and have a good relationship with Amazon. So they are helping us with their best engineers to optimize, and we are back to normal. So I'm preventing stuff. So, I mean, there is all these operational hurdles that I'm facing on a day-to-day basis. One thing is the strategic thing, and to look a little bit into the sort of from the bird eye perspective and see where we are and what we're doing. Is this correct at all? And I truly believe that when you speak to millennials, when you speak to gamers and understand their engagement and the way people live their lives today, how they are, everything on the mobile phone has been that for a long time, but it's even more. Where is it ending? If you're going to look into the future and say, what's the future of smartphones? We can maybe talk about glasses or chips in the air or whatever. I mean, there are many ways. What is the future of cars? We see some of them. We see that cars for if you only rewind 10 years ago, 20 years, it was diesel and petrol cars. Now it's electric cars all the way around. And nobody believed that just a few years ago. So I think that what we can say is that once we look on the tech companies that have created the biggest value over the past couple of decades, it's one of them, of course, is Facebook. And it's because their access to people. And they are also facing Facebook is actually facing the same challenges like John D. Rockefeller did with Standard Oil and towards the end of 19th century. He became the US Congress with the antitrust regulations in 1911 dissolved Standard Oil and created 5 oil companies. It became Exxon, Marathon Oil, Aramco, and Chevron. And that made him the world's richest because 5 companies was more than one. So basically, that's a little bit what you see. The antitrust regulation in the US is very strong. And that's what kind of Mark Zuckerberg is facing with Facebook today. So we see that the history kind of repeats a little bit. And that's the cycles we want to be in that cycle. We want to capture what we can do and see. Okay, this has a decade of potential for insane growth, and we can do that. And hopefully we can not only list the token, we can list the company. Maybe we will be acquired if we are willing to be acquired. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen, but. I'm just trying to kind of understand a little bit where we are and how we're moving. And there is so many services that really get digital these days. You see in the financial sector, you see all this banking, neo-banking, insurance, and all this comes on demand. If you use Revolut and you go to the airport, they will ping you and say, "Hey, Andreas, you're at the airport. Are you traveling somewhere? You wanna have a insurance cover?" I mean, these kind of just-in-time services is always there. So there's a lot of interesting thing, and it hasn't really hit the gaming industry, and not particularly. And there is one company in Sweden, I mentioned it before, called Evolution Gaming, and they kind of they went off the beaten path for. In 2007-ish, 2006-7, they started doing manual kind of what do you call handling of casinos, and they're listed, and I looked up their value yesterday, and they're still at 300 billion Swedish kroner, which is approximately $35 billion, kind of, and it's crazy. And that's for a company that kind of do. They have a lot of people in Romania doing manual dealing on poker tables. That's what they did. And they become tremendously success because they went off the beaten track, created their own proprietary technology, stayed on that course, and really made it big. Nobody else cared about them. So that's what we hope to do. Nobody cares about our business, and we keep pushing what we do, build a huge community, and all of a sudden we are too big to fail, or we are really attractive. And that's what's happening with business. They kind of come and develop. We don't need to make a lot of noise. We need to make sure that the end user, that the players are excited about our product. From that point forward, we will monetize like God. So that's what we're doing. There is a new bump in the prices tomorrow, midnight UTC. And midnight, that's the end of the day. That's not the beginning of the day. Some people have missed that up. So let's say UTC tomorrow, 23:59:59 or 000, whatever you say. You should get in there, start getting, I mean, the more, we also created a new slogan. Not a slogan, but a new saying this week. You know, we have play to earn. That's on the game side. On the other side, business community, we have engage to earn. And you need to engage. If you're sitting put in your couch and expecting to make a lot of revenue or make a lot of money without doing anything, it's not going to happen. There are some projects out there that will give you money for a little while and then they will die because it's not a solid, sound financial model to it. So that's why we want people to be active. That's why we have an activity requirement on the platform, and it's going to continue like that. If you did something last year, you are not this year's hero. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the way it is. You maybe were a great lover yesterday. It doesn't mean you are up for the task today. So with those words, I think we are ending this presentation. And welcome to a really exciting week. Next Sunday, I can promise you a little bit more of colorful presentation, a little bit more of things. But now we are hard at work. We have an extreme week ahead of us. And we really want you to also have an extreme week and take your position, fasten your seatbelts. We are ready for takeoff. Thank you and have a great weekend.